Yo, how we doing? How's life in the fast lane? Jolene, superstar. Holy moly. How you feeling, girl?
Yeah. Well, after that, all sorts of noise came in and I'm all over the place. I felt amazing, freaking like a rock star, but now emotion is in my head and yeah, conversations with a drunk husband and being yelled at is
Not super awesome.
yeah, not super awesome.
So you said something, so your emotions. So what's going on? What are we feeling?
Some resentment. One of the things that he said was, well, I hate my life. There's nothing to live for. I wish I didn't wake up in the morning. Really, you hate your wife and kids? Like, and this isn't the first time. This combination of depression and alcohol and all the other stuff that goes with it. But just resenting him for saying that, fearful that he would actually commit suicide. I just point out, are you going to commit suicide tonight? Because he's 2 hours away from me. And he said, today, no. I mean, scared, lonely, isolated, a little bit of everything.
Oh, I think this is really good. As long as you recognize that, then you can do the right thing, which sounds like you use your white picket fence training and you're went straight for the question. Are you going to commit suicide tonight? Right? And from there, all you can do is continue to set the example that you want to set for your children and for you, and hope that he benefits from it. Not your responsibility. You know, I think I get a bit of a bad rap with the whole mental health thing because I think we've talked about this a few times here too. Like, I care. Like, I'll get in my DMs and I'll get on the phone immediately. Before you talk, do I have to worry right now? You know, but I firmly believe that all that's bullshit. You need help, go get help. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not going to do it and you're going to hurt yourself, I will call the cops if I know where you are. Like, it is what it is. If you're not going to go check yourself in, the rest of it is up to them. And that doesn't matter if we're talking severe mental health, obviously. We're talking about taking life from ourselves, right? But I mean, you're probably right. It doesn't get any noisier than that, right? And imagine like the pressure's coming down on you with this massive transformation. Because let's be honest, you're making one of the biggest transformations right now, right? And you're inspiring a lot. And then you get all this noise, this pressure coming right down on you. And it's the exact opposite. You're giving life. And then he wants to take his or brings it up. More than likely, he's just trying to manipulate you, right? But we don't know. So what did you do with that? Did you continue to post? Did you take a break? Did you take some time for you, some self-care? Like, what did you do?
So this was last night at about 11:30 at night. I couldn't sleep. My littlest 3-year-old came in and snuggled with me, so that really helped. I made today another day about, you know what, I know what my goals are. I know exactly where I'm going. I'm still going to the gym. I'm still going to eat healthy. I'm still going to, all of those things. It was still about me. I still let that thought live in my head a little bit. But I still knew where I wanted to be and where I needed to be in order to accomplish the goals that I want to. We did talk this morning. He accidentally called me at 6 o'clock this morning and was a complete 180. Oh, I didn't mean to call you. I love you. But when I said that I love you last night, it was peace out.
Well, he probably didn't accidentally call you. I mean, we don't know, but I'm pretty sure he didn't. And typically, and I remember this all too well. You wake up earlier than normal, even though you'd think you'd want to just sleep or you'd be, passed out from drinking so much. But then you are like, whoa, guilt. right? And it's a classic nice guy thing, right? Where, and it doesn't always go this way. Sometimes he'll wake up and he'll scream at you, but it's not uncommon to be the other end of the spectrum because it's all about the highs and the lows, right? And so understanding that, it's just understanding that. There's nothing you can do about that. Until somebody wants out of their low, they'd rather ride the lows. There's nothing that's going to happen. In fact, sometimes I won't even take somebody into my program. So I'll be like, I don't think I can help you. You just want to be hurt right now. I have a one-on-one guy like that right now too that I'm a little bit worried about. Keeps going into the lows, saying the stupid things. Where do you want to be? And so when you guys have noise that, especially your spouses, when you're doing nothing, you're just doing everything positive, nothing negative. You can only do one thing. Keep the forward momentum. And will that make you feel guilty potentially if, say, he takes his life? I don't personally think he will. I don't think he's getting into those kinds of lows. I think we would have seen other signs, but I could be wrong. But it's not my responsibility or your responsibility. Our responsibility is to lead by the best example we possibly can in life, right? And that's why I used your children first, by the way. I don't know if you caught that earlier, but I used your children first because sometimes that's a little bit easier to think about them, right? What if he does do this? Well, they need to see the best shining light possible. You know what I mean? And sometimes as a mom, I think that responsibility can be heavy, but it can be also the most rewarding thing as well. And it makes it sometimes like I have to, regardless. So if you ever think about some of the content where I would talk about like your kids should be your reason, right? Not your excuse, right? Well, I don't have time because I take them to dance, to soccer, whatever. So you don't have time to get healthy and actually spend some quality time with them. I mean, it's important to do those things, but it's certainly more important to build a connection with them, So if they become your reason, not your excuse, sometimes that will help you, especially when your spouse is the one coming down on you. You know what I'm saying? And this works for you too, men, by the way, Okay. I'll tell you, even in the program, when the men start showing up, a lot of times the women check out of the kids too. And we talk about how unattractive that is in my program for a mom to check out because it's a little bit more unexpected, right? And if we think about the society lies that I always talk about, I think a lot of stuff is changing. But I think it's not about the woman checking out. It's just like what you found if us as husbands don't check in, we're paying the bills. You know what I mean? So anyways, that was a bit of a tangent. I'm proud that you kept yourself going. And I'd encourage you to just keep doing that, right? Try not to let him pull you into a low. Okay? That's the same sort of idea as the crazy train thing. Don't get on the same crazy train, right? That low is the crazy train. It's just the caboose versus the front of the train. Okay? Cool?
Yep.
Can I help you in any way?
I guess the only question I would be is, when he gets home tonight, do I pretend like it didn't happen? Do I address it? Do I,
I think dive into that with Kathryn in the calls, but I think personally, my first guess is to be, the reason why I said Kathryn is because you guys might want to talk about a boundary here, right? Because I don't think he's really going to kill himself. I think he's just using that, right?
Right. It's just suicide ideation. Yeah.
And so I think that you just got to love him and be you who you want to be, that gratitude we talked about. But even when I was doing the call with you before and I was telling you, like, you're going to have to start making plans for you. That's part of this. You can give love and gratitude. You can still be doing all the right things towards him, but you need to still give yourself love and gratitude. Right? And then as far as really addressing it, well, he might do that for you. Who knows? Right? He might be ready to go. He might be totally fine, sweet, and loving and start having some drinks. You might get both. So that's why we go under the plan of who do we want to be. Right? That's why all my content's always the same thing. And a lot of women apply the content to themselves, and it's just, who do I want to be? Right? If you're not the problem, even if you're the problem or your partner's the problem, it doesn't matter. If you're not the solution, you are the problem. Right? Hopefully he catches on soon enough so that the solution isn't leaving. right? You know, when we talk about like, so this, I want to put this out there because some of you guys are dealing with depression and stuff too. And I, specifically one of you men. And when we talk about the stuff that I teach, most of our wives feel like they're looking down on us because we think we're so great because we think providing is enough, protecting. We're not even protecting our heart, but we're this big man, whatever. And we have all these thoughts in our head, but it doesn't get more mom-like when we can't handle our emotions. So if you talk about a layer of depression, that's harder for her, for any woman to deal with, right? If you talk about a layer of suicidal manipulation, like, come on. That's why I say there's only so much you're going to take. You know? So I don't mean to put that on you men. Like, we would also feel the same way if a woman's acting this way towards us. Okay? It's just, are you actually a protector? A big man can't handle a little wife's emotions? Got to start checking yourself. You have children, they have big emotions too. Talked to a guy who snapped at his kids last night. Like, I get it, it's hard, but we have to constantly be working towards something better here. Make sense? Okay. Knock them dead. Not literally. That's a bad thing to say right now. Shit.
If I can run 4 miles after 8 years, I can do anything.
There we go. If you guys remember at the beginning of this, it was like, if you can run 1 mile, you can run 2. Now she's running 4. Oh, this is my daughter, Briar. Want to say hi? Hi, everybody. There's more there.
Hi.
Do the tongue out.
What?
Tongue out. All right. Dennis, go ahead, please, buddy. Oh, I didn't have you on camera.
I was getting some more noise with that same clip.
Yeah.
And I got this one person who was like, who are you to call me fat? I don't watch Netflix. Jesus would never say this. And I kind of gave a snarky remark back.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of commented back, but real defensive. And I thought about it for a second. I said, what am I trying to do here? Like, am I trying just to rile people up and piss them off? Or am I trying to help people? So I was like, let's try. Also, I think I was getting a little defensive. And I got to check myself on that. So I turned it around, used the tools you taught me about. And I said, sounds like my words are really triggering you. And you're feeling a lot of emotions. Do you want to dig deeper into that? I didn't think she would respond, but she responded with this whole thing about how people always called her fat and she works her hardest. And so then I told her, it sounds like you have like a lot of shame and you're carrying around people's validations of you. And we just started going into the mentoring when we start doing with the men in the program. And so it actually ended up coming to the point where, she started out telling me I'm a terrible person. And by the end of it, she was talking about how she's going to reconnect with God, go on mission to help other people because that's how she feels better. And she thanked me for my guidance. So that was like a real big win. And I was like, this is what I need to be doing with this. When I get the negative, let's see if we can turn to a positive. I know it's not always going to go that way, but why not take the opportunity, right? And if she spit in my face, whatever, at least I took the chance to try to make an impact because that's the whole point. So
okay, so many things. That
was a real interesting.
So many things. It's wonderful. It happened. It's amazing. This is exactly what the point is. And I'll talk about that in a second. So the first thing is when you said it sounds like it's triggering, that's probably if it's a comment. I don't know if it was a voice note in the DM or anything, but with your tone could be misread in a comment, right? So it could, you could have probably gone 50-50 there, right? If you would have just asked more of a question along the lines of keeping it simple, like, have you struggled with your own journey? Something like that, for example. You can't really misread the tone, and you probably got the same answer, and you wouldn't have had a 50-50, right? But it worked, and it's great. And this is what it leads to here, guys. Go back to the beginning of this. What is your why? I wanted you to start thinking about it in the very beginning, and I want you to go through it as you go through it like this. I don't want your why to be like, okay, this is the person I want to help because blah, blah, blah. That's how it starts. And then we got to make sure we don't change it based off the people that are seeing the content. It. And then you remember that why. Are you trying to get down, baby cupcake?
No.
Okay. And then you remember that why when you're looking at yourself, thinking about what you're feeling. He noticed he was being defensive. He noticed what he was trying to do. How am I supposed to help this person if I push them away? Right? So it's an exact wonderful example of when you get noise, how you can still turn it into helping someone. You know, I personally like to do that in DMs a lot. You know, man, this sounds really rough. You know, on the flip side, have you thought about, you know, X, Y, Z? And then and I've got something I can send you for that, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so as you guys are developing the material that you're learning to share, that's ultimately what will happen. You'll have something that I have something I'd like to share. It sounds like, you know, would you be interested in my daily devotionals? You know, I know there's a couple of you guys doing those, you know, and you can get the ball rolling. This is how this all works in the end. Does that make sense? Flip side, you feel pretty good, it looks like. Pretty big smile, right? That's what it's all about, guys.
Yeah, I couldn't get on. I couldn't wait to get on and talk about it. Felt good to like actually help someone.
That's amazing. And, you know, you guys, often we limit ourselves thinking we're not qualified. But your story, your struggles, you moving through them, you learning, implementing tools, those ads, right? You know, Dennis is continuing to add things in beyond what he's learned already. So he's got a struggle. He's got work through. He's learned some tools. He's learning more. He's posting. He's filling his own cup. Boom, he helps someone feel even better, right? So this is a perfect example, guys. Thank you, Dennis, for how momentum is supposed to help you all. Okay? Everybody like that? Cool. Thank you. All right, Mr. Hoff. I think of David Hasselhoff whenever I say Hoff. How do you know my audience is a little older? We all know who that is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, buddy, what's up?
I want to get started with this, and I'm trying to figure out and navigate the best way to do it. I've been on the calls and following along, and I'm just, you know, I need to do this for myself. You know, I like what you're doing, and I want to implement some more of it in my life, just so I feel like I can have more of an impact and hold myself accountable at the same time.
It's exactly what it's supposed to do, man. You know, I mean, there's so many reasons why, but if you know and you recognize one or two of them, then you just jump in. That's it. So what's one thing you cut out drinking, correct?
Yes.
You kind of went like this. Yes.
Well, I had a relapse last night.
Okay. So today you make your first post, day 1, sober. It's a relapse, meaning you wanted to cut booze out, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So do you have a why? Like a why you're cutting booze out?
For myself.
For yourself?
To better myself.
Well, you had a relapse last night.
To
So
not be an a-hole.
not be an a-hole. There we go. When I drink, I'm an asshole. I'm an a-hole. Sorry. My daughter's right here. When I drink, you know what? Day 1.
Yeah.
Okay. What's something that you can add that would move you forward?
What do you mean? Instead of the drink? I mean, just possibly start working out.
Okay. So let's not say
Put some
possible.
time in the day.
Pardon me? Did you say there's no time in the day?
No. I said to fill time in my day.
Pill time? Sorry, missing it.
No, fill.
Fill time.
You know, like.
Yep, fill time. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we got our first guy with tons of time. Awesome. Love it. Okay. So you structure it all in, man. Right? So what you're going to do is you're going to add in, don't say possible, just day 1 is sober and working out. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Now, from there, you've got more time. So I just want you to start focusing on some of the things that you can do to build your business. Right? We talked about the other day on the calls. So I want you to add something in like that. Tell people what you're doing so that you are calling 30 people a day. Okay? Or 50 people a day. Go with the number that works with the time. You know, day 4, called 50 people. Okay, baby cupcake. I love you. And now you're holding yourself accountable, but you're actually removing something that's giving you a fog and not making you good on the phone. You're adding something that's making it better and enhancing your confidence for when you're on the phone. And you're moving your business forward because you're going to start making deals. Or if you take that out, it doesn't have to be the phone thing. It could be the one where we talked about knocking on doors and getting business that way, right? But and then think about making a post about why you love renovating this or renovating that. You know, one of the reasons why you don't drink, blah, blah, blah. That's it. That's all you do to get started. For right now, that's it. Okay?
Okay. Well, today's a new day, man. That's
And
what I
then,
gotta do.
well, that's it, man. You should just start, right? And also, I mean, you're in my other program. So if you, and you're close with Bill, if you want to think about ways that, I mean, you've been through the reset, you know how you want to help men. If you know what that is, let's make that part of momentum. Right? Okay.
That'd be awesome, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You feel solid?
Yeah, man, I actually do. I feel pretty damn good about myself right now, even though I had a setback. It's, yesterday is yesterday and today's today.
You guys get comfortable on the journey, man. Get comfortable. You're literally never going to be there if you do this right. And that scares the crap out of people because you're like, well, I just kind of want to relax. I just want to take it easy. You don't understand. It's not like you're never going to relax. It's not like it's just what you'll find is the ability to learn, the ability to give. There's so much more life force. You don't feel like you need to relax the same way. It's not like you're high strung doing cartwheels down the grocery store everywhere you go. It's not like if you're an introvert, you have to be an extrovert. You just got to be willing to move yourself for more, So some of you guys, for example, have mentioned defensiveness recently. We heard it today again on the call. Well, I just put a piece of content that was like, well, why do you why don't you go do like an improv class? If you're struggling with defensiveness, feel good about making people laugh. If you're lacking in confidence, that can help you with that too. If you feel like you wish you were smarter, no problem. Go make your wit super sharp. Right? So adding things in like that will also help you. That's why I'm bringing it up as well for you. It will help you if you're trying to get on the phone. Who do you think people would want to buy from? The contractor that they have to go find on Google or the one that's like making them laugh when he's talking to them?
Oh, that's pretty self-explanatory there.
Yeah. We like people actually, even though we choose to sit in our pain, guys, which is, by the way, he recognized I can't. That was yesterday. Okay, that's it. Stop talking about it. Move forward. But even though people would rather sit in their pain, the moment you decide to do more, you can have more. Which is why he's on the call saying, I haven't really been doing it, but here I am. Good. You're going to win with that attitude. Okay?
It's about getting out of my comfort zone, man.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
All it is. I was talking to somebody else about this today who's really struggling in his marriage. And I'm like, well, you're not really using my program, number one. Number two, you're presenting nothing that she wants to stay with. Because everything that you think is good, you have to do if you're single anyway. Well, you're going to stop taking your kids to sports? Like, you're really good at that. You do a great job with that. What does that mean? You're supposed to do that. That's for them, not her, So dive in, leave the past behind, be the new you out of your comfort zone. That's what makes you valuable. And you start giving and loving and appreciating. Then bring those skills that you're learning here back home, like I was talking about with Jolene. Okay? Fair? Okay. Steve, you had your hand up?
Sure. Baggage. They're a small little town.
I'm not sure what you want to share, but please share it.
I was just going to say, man, even though I had my little relapse last night and I was a-hole to the woman that I love, she told me I need to dive back into the program because I told her about it about 3 weeks ago and she loves men. I'm becoming. So thank you. If anybody has any doubts about this man, don't. What he does kicks ass. That's all I wanted to say.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you. And by the way, I'm proud of you. You did that on your own 3 weeks ago. I just dropped it into Reset how to share it with your wife now. We got to stop being so afraid of growth, people, when our spouse is not on board. In fact, we got to stop being so afraid of what their reaction to your growth is. That's the whole point of leadership, because they're probably also in their comfort zone. In fact, if we just use Jolene's example or Chris's example, drinking, that's your comfort zone when you know you could be doing more. You know, there's a man that's called Dave down here. He's just literally crushing out of his comfort zone every single day. The amount of effort he's putting into the next level, the next project, the next question, the next reflection. Dave, can I pull on you for a sec? So can you tell me, what's it been like cutting out the BS in your life, but adding in, well, really, quite frankly, a lot of work?
Yeah, it's been a journey. You and I have talked a couple of times that in the last 4 months here, the growth that I've experienced here, the change in the direction of my life, not that it was bad before, but it is certainly way better now in the direction that I'm going. I am more positive. I know who I am. I know the direction that I'm going in. And it's not just impacting, my relationships. It's impacting everything that I'm doing. It's having a major impact at work. It's having a major impact in my social relationships. And certainly in my journey in my faith, that it has certainly drawn me a lot closer in my journey with faith. The saying of you never can draw closer to God until you hit rock bottom. 6 months ago, I hit pretty much rock bottom, at least as far as I was concerned. And it's really turned me around. And I don't remember if it was on a podcast. It might have been earlier today, Cass, on one of our calls, right? That you were basically saying, when you hit kind of rock bottom and you kind of, make the turn here, things will start to change in your life for the better. And I've just learned to dive into the program, really be a student of the program. And when I mean being a student of the program, that means putting in the work. And that also means having the willingness to understand that you don't have all the answers, and that, you can let yourself be vulnerable and, lean on other people who are going through the same struggles that you are. And that was a huge challenge for me. And to really rely on a program such as the one that we're kind of doing here with Momentum, but also I am a part of Cass's Reset program. Just being able to, unveil yourself, to have a mentor, to have a coach, to have somebody who is willing to kind of bring you along is hugely important. I just, last thing I'll say here is that, most successful people that I've seen in the world, I'm a big sports guy. I love sports. Tiger Woods, for as great as he was, has a coach. Shaquille O'Neal, for as great as he was, he had a coach. And for me, getting into something where I knew I needed to change and where I needed to better myself, I needed a coach and I needed a mentor. I found all of those things through this program. So, Cass, I'm not sure if that's exactly what you wanted me to hit on.
Well, actually, I appreciate the shameless plug. But where I thought it might go is one more piece that you messed up. So, messed up, not the right word, missed out. And that is that it was not necessarily easy for him. He recognized that he needed help. And he also, by the way, he's not saying you have to join the other program. He's saying like Momentum too. But what has happened is it's propelled him. It's not been unpleasant to make changes, getting out of his comfort zone. In fact, it's been joyous to the point, this is the part that he left out, that he's now getting closer. You heard him, he's getting closer on his journey with faith with God. And now he wants to help men become spiritual leaders. You guys, that's how it happens. He wants to start giving and giving and giving with it. And so that's the one part you missed out, that he went from stepping out of his comfort zone where we're all scared to he's feeling good. He's reflecting stuff that could hurt bad. You get through it and give, and now he just wants to give. That's the power, guys. And life is changing. In the whole process, it's getting different. It's changing for the better. Anybody see the power in that? Hopefully. Yeah. Thank you, Dave. All right. So now, who is struggling right now with something? I want to know. That's it. Life is perfect. Everybody's out of their comfort zone. It's easy. Oh, okay. Hands are coming up. Okay, Stephen, go.
Okay. Last night was a little rough. I don't even remember what it was when we were just kind of and got up this morning and we were talking again. I was talking to Kathy and she was frustrated with me because I had tried to find a house that we could both live together in when we moved. And she's like, I'm not ready for that. And I told you I wasn't ready for that. And you're trying to push me into that and pushing me away when you do that. Okay, I'm trying to hear and understand where she's coming from. I'm trying to respect the fact that she still feels like she needs some space. She still needs to do some healing for herself.
Stephen, I'm going to stop because we talked about this all yesterday already. We took a long time to help you too. It's not even really part of momentum. So can I help you for a next step potentially? Or do you need to go watch that video again?
I might already just watch that video again.
Yeah, I think. Because here's the simple part of it. You are where you are because of everything that's happened in your life today. So let's pretend you all have the worst partner on the planet. I'm going to make this easy. They're the bad ones. Okay? Does that everybody understand me right now? You've got the worst partner on the planet. Okay? You've done everything right. None of that's possible, but I'm just going to say it. Okay? What you need to understand is this. You are still here because you made choices. I don't care if it's where you live. I don't care if it's you like the way they yelled at you. I don't care if it's the way your kids speak to you. I don't care if it's because you're broke. All those things could be good things too. I don't care if it's because you have a six-pack. I don't care if it's because your partner runs across the room to give you a kiss. I don't care if it's because you're rich. So if you're not happy with where you're at, you enabled it to get where it is today. Maybe you didn't have the skills. It's totally cool. That's why Dave was talking about even the best of the best have coaches. And he's right. Like every professional singer, actor, coach, business person has coaches and mentors, yet everybody's like, oh, he's tattooed. Why would you listen to him? He's not a therapist. It's because everybody successful doesn't go to school like that. They get coaches. And if they did go to school, they get coaches anyway. It's crazy. So you're just where you are because you are. Don't worry about that. Watch that video again if you need to. Use momentum to show her the guy that's not going to hurt her ever again. To solidify in your brain, you are not that guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't matter if it's like Steven, who hurt his wife. Okay. Doesn't matter if it's like Patrick, who's feeling too low and depressed and not doing what he needs to do with responsibilities. Doesn't matter what it is, guys. Like it happened with Jolene. Okay. He's going to maybe hurt himself. She still must move forward. Get away from your pain right now, Steven. Use momentum for what it's designed for. Okay? All the reasons on the list that momentum was created is for you. Not everyone needs all the reasons, but for you, every single one of the benefits. Okay? Okay. All right. Jeff, go.
My big issue has been holding back because of where my wife is. So I get something started, am I going to lose half of it? That's where she's pushing. And I've got to the point where it doesn't matter. And that's what I've been holding back. That's why I've been so reluctant to get started on anything.
Okay, well, you're talking about business. So if you want to use momentum for business,
So,
if you think about momentum, there is so much. I thought you were done talking. Hey, Jeff, I muted you because there's something I know you well enough that I'm just going to cut you off here. Okay. So listen, if you think about momentum, yes, we can talk about it for business. And yes, I mean, I get it. I know where your wife is at, but think about where you're at right now. We need you in a position where you can comfortably say, babe, you don't check my boxes, actually. Which means you are so proud of you. That is your biggest struggle, right? Jeff's in my other program too, guys. So if you aren't proud of you and comfortable with who you are, you guys, if you ever wanted to actually use a boundary in your relationship, you need to be able to do it without contempt. They don't teach you that. They just say, oh, protect yourself. You're angry because, right? And so in my program with Kathryn, we don't love boundaries, but it could potentially get there. Like your wife might need some boundaries for sure. But in order to earn the respect where a boundary could even ever work, use momentum in all the other ways. Don't think about the money side. You already do well financially, right? You're just trying to get these other things going, okay? Think about momentum for filling your cup, right? I'll give you an example with what you do with your wood, your building, your shop. You could potentially be helping young men in the vicinity on a Saturday learning how to build, because many men don't know how to do this because their fathers didn't show them, right? I was somebody who could just figure it out. They didn't have YouTube back then, or maybe they did, but I didn't know about it. But a lot of men don't, right? And while you're at it, you could also, as long as it was safe and you had another adult there, a female, you could potentially help young women who want to learn how to build. Nothing wrong with that either. You know what I mean? So I would stay away from that personally because you're in this issue with your marriage. I think you should just help young men, But you can put that on a Facebook group, use momentum, show what you're doing, and build somebody a chair for their house, somebody who's less fortunate, or whatever it is you build. You know what I mean? And then let the good man fill his cup. The man who gets so hurt by his wife. The man who has trouble following through with response versus reaction that I teach because he's hurting so bad. Use momentum for that right now. Okay? I see how you love your kids, by the way. So that's an extra special gift that you could be given to young men who don't have a good role model. Good role model. Dennis likes to do that, right? Try that out for me. Will that work for you? You're muted, dude.
I'm coaching baseball now. So I've got a whole group of kids who've never played baseball that we are, instead of 2 nights a week, we are like 3 nights a week. And that is beyond outside my comfort zone. I don't like being in front of people. So it's taken a lot for me to get out there and do that.
I think that's great. So include that, but you're going to be in the shop anyway. So, think about that. Or if it is too much right now to have the kids come, the young men, you're in the shop anyways. So maybe it takes a month. I don't know. It doesn't have to be done every one day, but build something for somebody who needs a table. There's no matter what city you're in.
What to do?
What's that?
My shop's not set up for that right now, but because I'm trying to get that lined out. So what I'm wanting to do is actually it's garden tilling season, and I usually find churches that I till their gardens for free or nonprofits. Okay. But that was one of my problems with Facebook.
Right, I got you. Well, same idea. That's easy. You don't need Facebook for that. Just call the church, do an email blast. Take one day, find out all our emails, and do one email blast. Like, honestly, sometimes we make this much more difficult than it needs to be. Post that you're doing that. Right?
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think of that. That's a perfect idea. I don't know why that didn't come to my head.
That's why I have a job, man. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
I'll pay overcomplicated that.
That's why they charge. Yeah. That's why I charge so much. Okay. Right. Serenity, go.
Well, it's been very overwhelming this past week. All kinds of havoc is at play. I just got out of a neurologist today because having insult to injury, I've been having problems with dizzy spells and disorientation. And he asked if anybody noticed. And I mentioned some of my friends have noticed my speech changing, and but I don't know if it's PTSD or fresh trauma or what's going on there. And then he's doing some tests on my legs because I'm falling again more frequently. And I just fell yesterday. And now he's talking about like getting the MRIs and putting me in physical therapy and running other tests on my MRI on my head to see if what's going on with the dizziness, if there's anything brain related, whatever. And I just got out of there right before your call started. And so already being overwhelmed and then getting the news like, oh yeah, we're going to put you through all the stuff that you've gone through a million times and nothing's ever come out of it, has me in kind of a lull. It's like, I wouldn't mind sharing the highs and lows of dealing with post-PTSD and having the physical stuff. But part of the overwhelm is a lot of the stories that are coming up are also ones that require a lot of detail that I don't feel safe sharing yet. Details that would, if it gets into the wrong place, could reveal where I'm at with my family. So
just put those down.
So I'm just trying to juggle a bunch of stuff.
I think you should put those down or even write them out for you, but maybe don't share them yet or maybe ever. But I think, and I am not saying that I've got the medical answer for you here, but I think definitely with what's going on in your whole life, this whole thing moving forward, talking about this by putting it out, it's probably helping you. And sometimes when you start dealing with the pain, right? You know, I'm a big fan of not doing that. Just, I understand it. Okay, good. Move forward, create opportunities. But that maybe is where you'll move to with this. But on the flip side, potentially it's going to get a little worse before it starts to get better for you and you do process it. You got a lot to unpack. It's not like it's a normal story, right? So pay attention to that, you know? Pay attention, like when you make a post, when you're going through it, how much, when you're sharing that or when you're writing it down, how much of that is cutting over to the rest? Is that when your legs gave out an hour later? Pay attention to that stuff. I believe that's all real. Think about it. That's why I don't like sitting and playing the pain. If you think about the power of vision boards, affirmation statements, truly lifting yourself up, right? Knowing your goals, looking at your core values, all of that is what? Positive and motivates. And what do we see? All of these people reaching their goals, right? I'm not saying you can't with therapy, but don't you think it's pretty powerful to understand the connection? Wait a minute. If I do all the good stuff and that's how the successful people become so successful, then why would I do the things that make me think about the past and talk about it? So potentially that might not work for you until you're actually helping somebody with it. And if it's not, if it's too damaging, like what you're describing, having to go through all the tests that you've already done a million times again, well, maybe this isn't part of the story we need to talk about. You know, but you won't know that. The only way you could know that is paying attention, writing a journal, keeping a log, understanding, you know, what's happening when I'm processing this stuff, right?
I used to have seizures for decades. I had seizures, and when I left my bio family, the seizures stopped.
Yeah,
I was blowing circuit.
You guys, it's like, just think about the power of what I'm trying to teach you on today. If we know all of this positive stuff works and gets people there, yet we also know that it takes years to process and deal with all the pain. Like, I'm not saying that you don't have to. One way is right, one way is wrong, but just think about mathematically speaking, right? Keep it logical here for a second. No emotions. Yeah, you had seizures because you're living in crap life. I had psoriasis when I had a crap life. You know what I mean? Now I don't. So the more we live in this life, if it's not helping you, well, you have a new remove, a new subtract. But you don't know. You have to process that because it can get worse and then go better, right? You could do another test too. You could just stay off of it for 30 days. right? Just remove it for 30 days right now. See what it feels like to not share that stuff. What happens? Are you more energetic and feeling stronger?
No. By writing it out and sharing it, it's very exhausting to write it out again, or to have to tell the story again, or to filter through the stories. It's really exhausting. Like, I need a nap afterwards.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's also giving me a voice.
Yes.
Where normally I don't have a voice. So I'm coming through the other side of it strong.
Yeah, but your voice doesn't have to be going through the pain. Your voice could be going through the joy. Now that I am through the door. Right? See what I'm saying? So you could remove that pain for 30 days. Even a week. You might be like, after a week, you have so much energy because you're not exhausted immediately after needing a nap. Right? If you think about what you just said and then you talk about your legs giving up. I know this stuff sounds kind of crazy, but it's real. Right? So I would recommend that.
A lot of energy.
I would try that. Remove the pain, add the joy for a post for a week. Spin it. I hope this motivates. Excuse me. Very little to do with the pain. You could just allude with a sentence or two about, what you overcame, and then talk about how life is moving forward.
Okay.
Okay. Love it. Okay, Leah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, Shannon, go ahead. Thank you, Leah. Shannon.
Yeah, I'm trying here. There we go. Oh gosh, it's been really hard, but I don't even want to get into that right now. First, I'd like to maybe try and encourage. You guys are talking about what your body will do physically, and that's kind of my hope someday here if I get out of this mess, is to, we do have to walk forward, we have to fill our cup, we have to do these things, but there's actual, there is a whole hormonal side to this. And the one thing everybody to learn is, we all know the fight, flight, fawn, whatever everybody wants to do, and you're producing cortisol. And the one scientific thing with cortisol is for women, if we're put into that stage for a long time, whether it's cortisol even from exercise, is what people don't realize. Everything, if you're in that zone, we take 30% out of our adrenals. And so as soon as we're in stress response, whether it's good stress, bad stress, it's 30% out of our adrenals, which is our hormones, which once you tank our hormones, then yeah, we're susceptible to all kinds of, whether it's autoimmune disease, digestion, and that's why when you go to the doctor, you can't figure out what's going on. Whereas for a guy, their stress hormones, if they're producing and they have high, it's only 3% out of their adrenals. All their cortisol production comes out of their testosterone, which they make every day. So sometimes that's why a guy can't understand why their wife goes, why does she seem more emotional? Why can't she just get over? And it's because it's actually tanking the hormones that run the whole system. And so someday I hope to bring that to you with the good food, with the good mindset, with the filling your cup, the whole just that there is some true stuff behind there that we have to get a hold of too, and to honor both of each other's systems and support each other. And actually, I said that one video you have that you guys did that cold plunge and you were just emotionally supporting your wife. That is the complete example, because as a guy, you're thinking, oh, come on, just get in, I'm doing it. You saw her and you saw what she's seeing, and you came up to her level there and understood her struggles, and you support her, and that feeds a woman amazing. What that can do to the hormones is amazing. So there's a whole bunch behind it. I hope someday I'll be able to help people when I get out of how low my body is.
What you do right now is you document learning all of it, and you document how it's affecting you, right? And then you will have something to give. You don't have to say, I hope someday. Just know that's where you're going. So you're stepping outside of your comfort zone today because you know it's so important for you to learn this, and you want to share it, right? You figured out enough to know. You figured out enough to know you're using numbers even. I mean, now you'll lose most people with numbers, right? But if you can attach it to the feelings, right? So that's what I would encourage you to do. I would encourage you to focus on the journey of learning and trying things out and what affects those hormones. And, you know, you obviously can't do a lot with your partner right now for that, but you can do it for yourself, right? So that's what I'd encourage you on. And thank you. If she was referencing, guys, the cold plunge videos that where I was in with Kathryn, you know, there's one more thing. I'd like to make her laugh, right? If you can alter the mood with structure for what it's supposed to be, fun. Well, I don't know if you call that fun, but that's better feeling than feeling scared, right? This is a man's responsibility, guys. All these guys that fight me on this crap. Did you hear what she said? That's so amazing that you could. What is she saying? I don't get that from my spouse. Now, women, you can do that for your husbands too, though. It's pretty powerful. Women do that they learn that from Kathryn, right? But I'm not the one that's afraid. I'm the one that's sitting in the tub for 3 minutes, right? And that's what most people do. Men would we talked about this yesterday, the competition thing. Men would make it a competition. That's like when we talk about wit. You can put your partner down, but, you know, be sarcastic. Sure, try it your way. But you can never hurt them if you don't use wit as a weapon, right? And all of these things affect the stress hormones she's talking about in other parts of your body. It's true, guys. People just don't want to pay attention to it, rather protect themselves. So I like this. I like this a lot. I think you should talk about stuff like that. You know about it.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of where the whole problem comes in. I've actually done that all my life. I've been the encourager to everybody with so full of the, you know, information to tell while we're trying to implement it. But yeah, there's way too much behind there. But in being that and knowing the truth, but watching something else so different behind it already, my body went down to 0. So I mean, right now I actually have CO2 therapist, and like she's all you should be concentrating on is only eating food and getting it into your food and gaining again. But I'm not at that part of my life. There's just too many things being thrown at me right now to be that. So I think what I'm struggling with is knowing that I went forward and all of that. And I think I said that last time, so don't need to go there, but just where you do that and you see that and you work that it out towards people and you believe in moving forward and not wanting to be in the stories of the past. I always wanted to go forward, but it seemed to do, it would be taken for that tiny second, but as soon as there was a bit of conflict, nope, and then it's back there. And so now I'm being pushed into where I actually have to write everything down and get it out because it wasn't going forward. And it's a scary part of my life because we're losing everything. We are actually probably trying for the first time in our life to be where our business is thriving, our Biden business streams. Did something nobody else here has done, and people love us because we're vibe. So we could be at the highest. I have people calling me right now going, wow, where are you? Because you're always there.
Shannon.
And the last week,
Shannon.
yeah, sorry.
It's okay. I'm gonna pause you just for a second. This sounds really tough, but you take control of you, right? So you just reminded me that we talked a little while ago about you connecting with other farmers. Have you done that? Right? Do we make posts for that?
Right? What?
Connecting with other farmers. Do we do that?
Yeah, I try. I was going to tell you, no, we're in such a spread out area. There is nobody, like even the little farm I'm on now, she can't because she can't handle anything.
No. Yes, this is what you all need to learn to do. You don't keep justifying the can't. You don't.
Yeah, no, there's no, like if I find somewhere for myself, it'll be an hour away.
Yeah, but we got that. We got that. Good. Move on. Right? You told it 3 times. Now we want you to talk about what you can do. Right? Okay, so if you know me, I say do what you can't. Okay? Focus on what you can't, not what you can. But sometimes you're going to be limited. So there's nobody close enough to work with. Okay, so then what can you do to create the work with where you're at? Or can you do something different, right? We talked about everything that you want to do with this hormone stuff, for example. Start doing things, moving things forward, because the alternative is nothing. It's nothing. Nothing is going to change. You follow me?
Totally, yeah, no, I just, I'm getting cut off of all finances too now, too, I've got a little bit less for a few more tax days. Yeah, my car's giving me trouble, I actually asked him to change the oil, or check the oil, and he wouldn't, and I can't get the dipstick out because it's broken, burnt in there. I realized I went to the city, I was driving around with my little girl, and it wasn't registering oil, and I knew it needed that, and so now I'm fixing my car, and I won't have any. Like I'm down to the
It sounds really hard and really difficult. You know, I know that Chris, we talked to on the call earlier, was struggling to get his business moving, and it's just not going. There is no alternative. There's no reason to talk about even what's going on with the car and all this. It's like, what am I doing with my time? Because I say this with the most love, everyone. No matter where you are, what stage in life you're at, the story and the problems are there. They're just different. They're just bigger, right? So the easiest way to understand this, guys, is like everybody comes into our programs and they want to tell us a story and they have the whole reason why and why not, their relationship's not working, this and that. And I'm like, same problems, same treatments. Just doesn't matter, you know? So what we want to do is make sure that you're actively using momentum more than anybody else. That's why exactly what I told Chris yesterday. You should be using it more than everybody else if you have more problems. I just don't think your problems are worse than anybody else's. They're just different. Does that make sense? I'd start right at the beginning going, what can I do? What can change my circumstance? If you can't see your kids right now, you look at it like a reframe in the mind. That's hard. What can I do with my time? I got lots more time. So we're in the pain for one moment, then we move on.
So how do you work? Well, how do you work with? Just stay with our kids right now. As a mother, and you talk about your core values and everything. Oh, the reason I can't see them, I had one actually get moved here because they were picking on it's my work going into there, but she's now gone. She's just a tiny little girl. She sits. I had another one that's emotional. He's such a little emotional character, couldn't handle her, but they've got them so addicted to games over there that they're seriously all playing hours of games. So I'm losing my kids to something I know health-wise can destroy them. But yet I have to sit back because if I do something good and try to be, then they twist it if you're trying to this. So I'm having to sit back now as a mother who's not in very good shape to watch my kids play hours of and I could see them. They're mad at each other. They're staring. My little kids are doing this. They're getting into it.
So how do you handle that? You can only set a better example when you can, even if it doesn't feel good or work hard or sorry, it works, but it's hard, right? You must do it. Like at the end of the day, it's out of your control if you can't control it. If they're not with you, you can't control it, right? It's like some of you, you're separated, your kids there's another person, another father raising the kids now all of a sudden, and you want to do something, you're mad because you don't like how they're treated. There's nothing you can do, but you can tell your partner you don't like this person, they're bad, they do whatever. You're probably just going to make them want them more because you don't like them.
Yeah, no, like here, that's why I don't say anything. When they're here, I just do, but see, they go, well, Mom, what are we doing now? What are we doing?
So you do the best you can when you have them. Send them home with a book. If they've enjoyed it with you, maybe they'll finish it. You know, I know.
I did.
And here's the problem, guys. Hear what she just said. I did. This is why people quit, because it's hard. It does suck. You might have you might come to no avail. I will tell you what I tell every person who doesn't get to see their kids. At one point, your children will grow up and talk to you again. The poison doesn't last. If they do have the poison lasting, they'll come back and they'll ask questions and be mad at you. I'm pretty sure we talked about this with you, right? They'll be mad at you. They'll be like, why? And all you do is show up as your best example, leadership. And they'll be able to discern the difference. Like, come on, I'm pretty sure we had this conversation with you Shannon, because they're not being treated well, not only by your ex, but the older
No,
brothers.
they're treated well, yes, they're treated well, he's Disney dad, no,
It's-
they're not treated bad by him.
Oh, okay. But it's there's a lot of bad examples, a lot of bad stuff going on, right? At the end of the day, they're being told bad things about you, all the stuff. They get to watch video games, all the stuff. If it doesn't line up with the poison, guys, we don't believe the poison. You know, I'll give you a real example. My life, reached out to my biological father, okay? And the whole time I heard that he wasn't really, involved. He wasn't really interested. He wasn't really, well, it was true. I was on the phone with him and he hadn't done any work on his life. So he was awkward with me. Couldn't be involved. All of it was supported with truth. If you already know who you are, because you stepped out of your comfort zone, you show up, you know how to deal with feelings, you know what's going on. Hey, you've attacked this hormone stuff that you're talking about. Who do you think's going to look like is they're telling the truth? You or them? See you later. You know what I mean? So it's hard. It sucks. I'm sorry. And it's got to rip a mom's heart out. Have all these kids that you can't see. All we can do is keep moving forward.
And it's all the time if they wanted, but there's just something more enticing for the fleshly heart there right now. So it's not that I can't see them.
I think
It's just,
that we often do that. I mean, it makes sense when you're talking about kids and video games, kids and phones. Makes sense why they'd want to spend time with that. I get it. I do. But just be careful. That's exactly what we justify all the time. Oh, man, I didn't make any money in my gym for any years because there's too much competition. Like, that's how it works. That's why people don't move forward. We always have a reason, right? What happens is when we stop using those excuses, we recognize the reasons are the excuses. See, I would challenge you to look at it like this. Why am I not more exciting and fun than a phone, an iPad, a video game? That would be my challenge for you. Okay?
yeah, well, some of it is, I mean, he's stopped my money, he's taken them out for places, so I'm stuck in a little house that's not mine, so I play games with them, but then